According to the Census 2011, there are 26.8 million persons with disabilities in India, which is a 2.21% of the total population. Around 69% of these disabled people live in the rural India, with very low accessibility to proper healthcare, special education and rehabilitation because of financial difficulties. Many disabled people are shunned by their own families and societies because they are seen as emotional and financial burden. People with disabilities often find it difficult to access public transport or any other regular services and hence are confined to their homes, making them almost invisible in this vast country. But some organizations want to change this narrative by helping underprivileged people with disabilities find their abilities and live a happy and independent life. This is the story of people who are striving to change India and make inclusivity the new normal.
This is a special facility run by the Association of People with Disability or APD in Bengaluru. But the children here are not just learning basic skills. They're learning life skills that will offer them means to support well into adulthood.
Unfortunately, when somebody walks into my experience is many parents ask me only 3 questions. One is, when will my child talk? When will my child walk? And then after us, who? It's a very thought-provoking question. I always wonder, with the very important function, because parents are not going to be with them, with the people with children with special needs, they're not going to be with them always. So that's the answer that we're trying to find out.
Government data says that 20% of persons with disabilities report impairments in movement. 19% have trouble with their eyesight, 19% report some form of hearing disability, and 7% have speech impediments. Data also suggests that 6% of the disabled population face an intellectual disability that stems from their physical disability, which results in difficulty in understanding, comprehension, or communication. Over 1/5 of all persons with disabilities in India are elderly, which means nearly 4 out of 5 are children with disabilities. That's a significant number. APD believes that targeting just one phase or form of disability or providing monetary support is not the solution. The real solution lies in equipping these children to lead full lives. Lives where they are not dependent on anyone else for their basic needs. Lives where they can assimilate into society as regular members. That's where APD's life cycle approach comes in.
The biggest problem that we face with disability and the disabled, which is that they are invisible. So the invisibility of the disabled is, I think, a reason people underestimate how widespread it is. In our challenge to become more inclusive as a society is just accessibility. Simple things like the absence of a ramp or a bus which they can't get on, or a bus stand, or a railway platform where the platform is accessible but the train the coach is so many steps higher. Because disability is a lifetime condition for those who are born with it, APD's practice has evolved to look at children from the time they are born with developmental delays right through to schooling, catering to their needs when they're trying to get a job and become economically independent.
Established in 1987, APD has touched and reformed the lives of 284,176 disabled people as of March 2023, and that number is rising by the day. Most of these beneficiaries hail from low and middle income households. The organization provides early intervention in infants with disability, inclusive education for such children, livelihood training for disabled adults, and conducts programs to rehabilitate and facilitate their re-entry into regular society. Of the over 2 lakh people served by the organization, 31,475 were early intervention cases like Shaurya. Shaurya showed signs of delayed behavior and autism as a baby, but APD's program has helped.
When I got to know Shaurya is having delay, I was really worried. I don't know what to do, where to go. Never before I've seen such children in my household also. Initially he was not adjusting to this place. He was showing the tantrums. He was crying. He was also intolerant to sounds. Orally, if we say, they can't understand. So some techniques are there which people are helping with those things, like flashcards, showing flashcards. They can easily understand what it is by showing images. He got adjusted to sounds. He's no more crying with loud sounds. He started imitating. Imitation was also not there. He started imitating, doing sounds with his mouth. With speech therapy also, he's able to understand what the activity is. I just want him to be independent and happy.
APD's early intervention program focuses on rehabilitation of underprivileged children with disability. The program includes not just therapy, but skill enhancement modules. It also trains families to be interventionist through cost-effective methods. But the first hurdle often is getting parents to understand and accept that their child is experiencing delayed development.
The first thing what we see is the mother has not accepted that the child is slow, because again it's a family issue wherein the parents will say, no, it's okay. The child can be delayed at some times, or they might have not gone to any doctors regarding this issue. So when it comes from the ASHA workers or from the social workers, they find it little difficult to accept it. We have exercises depending on what area we are working on. Like for example, if we are working on the physical part, then there are various exercises which we teach the mother. If we are working on the cognitive, there are various cognitive skills. There are sensory activities which we tell the parents to do.
APD's suite of services include speech therapy, hydrotherapy to stimulate muscle development and offer support in limb function development and motion control, and sensory integration therapies designed for autistic or anxious children. It primarily caters to disabled children from low and middle income households, offering these services at zero or low cost to families. Once the child develops some basic cognitive and attention milestones, she is shifted to the Shraddhanjali Inclusive School, which is located on the same campus. The flexible nature of the school and audio-visual method of instruction helps children with disabilities feel included and helps them learn better. The success of this approach is visible. 14-year-old Rachel suffers from cerebral palsy, which resulted in her being partially paralyzed. But with therapy and help of school, she has seen an improvement not only physically, but in terms of confidence as well.
Before I was in wheelchair, because of therapy, now I am in crutches. With therapy, I can become a normal child. My hobby is to sing with group Kavita Krishnamurti. I sang a song. Showers of blessing beneath, mercy drop sound of falling, but for the showers we bleed. I want to become a doctor and I want to help with disability with people. I want to help them and I want to treat them.
Shraddhanjali Integrated School, or SIS as it's often called, is a place with infectious positivity and can be counted as an example of truly inclusive education system. Children with speech and hearing impairments are taught in sign language, often by teachers who have the same disability. Case in point is 41-year-old Manojan AS. Manojan lost his speech and hearing at a young age and knows firsthand how difficult it can be for someone with such disabilities to keep up with the curriculum with regular children in a regular school setting. I am the only one with hearing impairment in my family, and I was not born deaf. When I was 5 years old, I had a bout of high fever during a viral infection, and this resulted in hearing loss. My parents sent me to regular school, but I could not understand what was being taught, and my studies were greatly affected. It was then that my parents started searching for a special school, and they discovered the Sheila Kotawala Institute for the Deaf in Hal, Bangalore. Once I joined the school, I was finally able to understand what the teachers were saying. I've completed my education in ITI and also 3 levels of Indian Sign Language. I started working as an Indian Sign Language teacher in APD back in 2015. Not all disabled persons are born that way. Like Manojan, many contract disabilities due to various childhood ailments like meningitis or polio. Others are victims of accidents.
APD is not just helping children learn and develop educational and behavioral skills, it is also rehabilitating adults with disabilities like paralysis, autism, cerebral palsy, and sensory and limb disorders to take up sustainable livelihoods. More on that after the break.